Well, good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic night wherever you may be. Tonight, I have the wonderful pleasure of being joined by Aja from Methodickal Management, who is also one of my managers as well. Also, I just wanted to notate Chris is currently under the weather this week, so we are sending him love and the hope that he will feel better soon and he'll be back with us next week. But for now, may I introduce you all to my dear friend Aja.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm really well. Thank you for being willing to join us tonight. And I apologize that Chris was unable to join us, but he'll be with us again soon.
I'm sorry he's not feeling well.
That's all. That's all right. So, you are a manager for several psychic mediums like myself and other types of guests. Can you tell us a little bit about your one of your paranormal experiences because you do work with so many people in the paranormal?
Um, so I've had about five or six now. The one that comes to mind first is an overnight investigation at the Lizzie Borden house with um, Father Bob Bailey, and myself and a friend of ours, Michelle, had gone. Um, it was a basement investigation, and I was under Estes method, and something came through that apparently was dark and was having an argument with Father Bob, and we were we had holy water being thrown across the room. I was yeah, that was fun.
Oh my goodness, what an interesting first experience or first few experiences to have.
Yeah, Father Bob's a riot. He took my water bottle, my only drinking water that I had for the night, and we had holy water sitting on the table, but none of us know we didn't know it until afterward. And he's like, I've got nothing. I'm like, well, I can make holy water. So he took my water bottle, and yeah, I'm getting doused with holy water. I had nothing to drink.
Oh my gosh.
That's what comes to my mind first.
I love Father Bob. He's very much able to create what's needed right in the moment.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Now, you're also in the metaphysical community as well, correct?
I'm sorry. The metaphysical.
Yeah, you're also a practitioner yourself, correct?
Oh, a witch. Yes. Yes.
So within that, how do you find yourself integrating some of those experiences into some of the experiences that you are having when you go to different locations, whether it's a paranormal investigation or it's just going to a different space and you're finding yourself needing either protection or how do you see some of the gifts that you have been working with integrating in your everyday life in those kinds of common situations?
Well, I can say that I don't know that I have abilities quite like yours. Um, I have more what someone told me once was sensitive abilities, where I feel energies within certain locations and objects and things like that. So, as far as any kind of clairvoyance, I don't claim to have any of that at all.
Mhm.
Um, just more sensitive to feelings and energies and
Being able to basically tell when something energetically is going on in a
yeah.
space. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when it comes to creating methodical management, what inspired you to put that together?
So Methodical started, I had a couple of people on my roster. I was not officially a business. I was helping friends. And I'm somebody that doesn't play small. And I was thinking to myself, well, paracons are great, conventions are great. This is wonderful. But how do I get you guys on talk shows? How do I go bigger? And Bill Slevin told me, you need a company. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. And that's how Methodical started. This was to help a couple of friends that I just believed in, and I was having a blast doing this. And then it grew from there. Started very small. I had a couple of people. Bill, I have Father Bob is still one of the originals, and Kent Wilson. And then just more recently, I've obtained quite a few more individuals, and I'm very, very blessed to say I have you because you're amazing. Yeah, that's a Methodical didn't start. I didn't know that I was going to have a company. I didn't know Methodical was going to be what it was, and the name hit me. I was sitting on that because it had to be just right. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm driving one day and I'm like, what what is this company? Like what do you have to be? And I mean, you can't be successful if you're not methodical, if you're not calculated, if you're not. And I'll never forget, it was a serial killer movie. It was either The Watcher or it was Seven. And I want to say Morgan Freeman said he was describing the serial killer. And it was like, he's calculated, he's methodical. And that I first, for whatever reason, hit my head, and I went methodical, methodical. But then it had a K in honor of Aleister Crowley's magic with a K. You know,
Hmm.
like the difference between occult magic and Houdini magic. So that's kind of how I'm rambling, but that's how Methodical started. That's where the name came from. And it's just been manifesting and trying to stay in alignment. And just, I don't know, I did something right recently because the abundance is just flowing in. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think that you have an incredible gift to be able to bring people together and to be able to bring people into the right situations for different events. So I think it's incredible that you've put this together to offer something to the community that really needs representation, and also to the community in regards to the people that you're bringing into those locations to help teach people different things. I think it's wonderful. Um, so when we talk about the occult, are there any specific books that you really that has really impacted you over time when it comes to the occult, or when it comes to anything to do with the metaphysical?
I will be so honest with you. It has been a hot minute and a half since I've read any books on occultism.
Mm-hmm.
My first book when I was 13 or 14 years old was Raymond Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft. So
Mm-hmm.
the first form of witchcraft, the first tradition I was taught was Wicca. And then some later years realized that was just kind of like in a church, a denomination, so to speak. Um, and sadly, I had a whole stack of awesome books. I had so many books that I have no idea what happened to. I did put paganism on hold for very many years. And I did the born again Christian thing, and then it found me again. It kind of never goes away. It's very deeply rooted here, you know, when you know what you are, but you fight it, and you can only fight it for so long. And I just recently, in the last year and a half, kind of decided I wasn't going to fight it anymore because it's in here. It is what it is. So I haven't done the studies and I haven't practiced in years. But the way that I utilize my magic is all inner. I don't use tools, spell work. I don't use candles or tools or anything like that, which um, I find for the aesthetic, and I think to bring community is a really important thing to have those things. But as a solitary witch, like as somebody who doesn't practice with other people, I've always had a natural kind of like in and out energy where I can kind of work with that by myself. So I don't really have any kind of, yeah, I'm not a special witch. I just yeah, I took a long time off, and I took, yeah, very many years off.
Well, I think as solitary witches, because there are witches that practice in group settings, and then there are who are ones that are solitary, and then there are ones that come together for certain cycles of um, the year that I've noticed. I think we all practice and manifest our magic in different ways, and tools aren't always something that we necessarily need. Sometimes it is about, at least from my perspective, it's about the intention that we're putting into what we're creating.
That's it.
Yeah. Because with I'm thinking about methodical management. Well, I also think that we all have a method of doing our own ways of workings. And so that kind of integrates into it as well, to where you could potentially say, well, we all have our methods of magic that we put into stuff. So um, w- when you think about magic, what are some things in your daily life that you um, integrate perhaps into daily practices for yourself, whether it's just a daily ritual of cleansing or whatever that might be from a spiritual standpoint?
Um, so I have to, I actually thought on this myself in the last week. It's funny that you ask that because I think to myself, like, what are these rituals that I'm not really aware of that I keep just from even childhood? Um, for me, little things like stones or like the placement of things, like I used to keep an altar. I don't currently have an altar that I'm working with. But my whole apartment is just kind of like things that are just strategically placed and they can't move. And then I wonder to myself, is that my OCD or is that magic? And like, I think some of it, I have gone through so many years thinking these were like OCD practices of like, this is why this is this way, or this is why I won't drink water that's sitting, or this is, do you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of thing. But they're magical practices too. I'm trying to think if there's anything specific. I mean, probably visualizing, like the intent work, like visualizing when you're doing a certain, like if you're in the shower, like cleansing your aura, kind of, just that kind of. But I listen to signs, and like things around you, right? Like little like symbols or numbers or this, or sometimes something hits you and it's just very clear that that was a sign, and you kind of go with it. You're like, oh, this is the stone for me today. This is what I'm going to use. And yeah.
That's awesome, because I do think that each stone has ways of being like energetically focused, intent wise, and then activated for specific purposes. And sometimes it can really help to have those like in those specific intentional spots, or to carry specific ones with you if it benefits what you're trying to manifest within that day. Um, Also, when it comes to altars, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that, because I literally just started building my own altar space in my home. And for many, 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 many years, I did not have an altar space whatsoever. Um, Mainly because I was constantly, you know, in different spaces where I wasn't fully ready or prepared to set one up. But I set one up for belting, and I thought it was really fun. It's not a traditional belting altar, but it works for me. So um, I think that's really uh, an important point, is that not everything has to fall into a specific alignment for it to work.
I don't believe in the rules. Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah, I think certain traditions have very specific ways they walk their path, and I totally respect that. But I think I've always been a little bit more eclectic in the ways of just grabbing the different items that I need to use for whatever it is I'm doing and do it. Um, I no, I wasn't sure. Do you follow a specific tradition within the path,
no,
or
not at
okay?
all. I honor Christ energy first. I
Mhm.
honor the Lord and Lady. Deity to me is something different than it might be to somebody else. I honor energies. Um, I'm kind of all over the place spiritually. I've taken so many things along the way. Um, I don't, yeah, absolutely. I never, even like with Christianity, I never believed in a certain denomination. Like, I mean, is
Mhm.
it Christ? Like Christ, you know what I mean? It's not a certain kind of church or a certain kind of way that you do this or that. So no, and like I said, I'm coming back into this and just accepting what I am. And I'm studying all different kinds of ways. Do you know what I mean? Just whatever
Mhm.
feels right to you is what it is. Like we all have that magic inside of us and nature
Yeah.
magic. So, it's I don't know how to say that any other way. I am not I'm not skilled because I've been out of it for so long. And yeah, I'm not actively doing any kind of certain magic other than manifesting and in those ways. But yeah, absolutely no tradition. I myself just can't even wrap my head around that because it's just so expansive. There's just, you know what I mean? There's so many that you can take from, and there's different religious practices that I've, learned about along the way that kind of this makes sense and that makes sense and that doesn't. You know what I mean? You just kind of shape who
Mhm.
you are as you go.
Do you have any specific pulls that you have towards working with any kind of specific energies? Like, for example, recently, this is a very recent thing. I've always had a pull towards Egyptian cultures since I was very young. But more recently, I'm finding that certain Egyptian deities are starting to step in a little bit more for me to work with them, like Anubis, because, um, I had the experience that I had when I passed away for a few seconds and then came back. But then recently, it's like I'm also feeling a pull towards Set, which is not something I thought I would ever really feel a strong. I never really felt like I would feel a strong pull with that. But then at the same time, Aphrodite and Persephone. Those are, some other ones but they're from completely different traditions and walks. Um, you had mentioned that you had just gone back into it, but have you ever had pulls like that with specific ones?
Um, I will say I don't know about a specific deity,
Hmm.
or the Egypt thing has always, since I was a kid, I was always very, very drawn to that. I'd rather watch a documentary on the pyramids and the whole, I don't know.
Hmm.
That calls to me. There's something spiritually significant about Africa to me, and I don't know what that is. Um, I've been told that I used to have dreams and I used to talk in my sleep a lot, and I was told that I was clicking. Like, and it sounded like a legit clicking language. And I'm
Hmm.
thinking that was really odd because it was at a time in my life where I felt that pull, and it was an owner of a witchcraft shop. Oh, this must have been like 2000, 9, 10ish. And she told me something interesting. She says, you have a root, you have something in Africa. There's something, and I'm like, well, I have no idea. Like, I don't know what that is, but I was dreaming about it and I was clicking in my sleep. And so I have no, I'll tell you, I have no idea if there's anything past life or,
I
you
was
know
going
what
to
I
say
mean?
it sounds like it may have some past life resonance for you, possibly, especially if you were speaking in clicks, because I do know that I have heard of languages from a long time ago, and also ones that I believe still speak in those languages um, that come out of Africa. So I find that interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She told me something about you might have roots in Buddhism, and I'm like, I don't really identify so much with that religious practice.
Hmm.
I do find it fascinating. There was something because I have a pull to water, and I do have a certain thing that happens to me in a certain body of water. And when I explained this to this woman, she was like, "Oh, you should look into." I think it's I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Mami Wada. She's I think the water goddess for my cat is interrupting me.
Oh no,
Um,
that's okay.
like Lucy. Um, yeah, she's the goddess of the water. Like she's so I just recently actually downloaded a book that I found on her because I hadn't seen anything in years and I was like, oh, I gotta get that because I never really looked into it. But
Mm. I think that I think that's how you say her name. I've heard of her one time. I have only heard her referred to also in another term and a terminology as Oshun, but I think that that is some of the more. That's also some of the more. Oh, hello, Kitty.
yes,
um,
Lulu.
oh my gosh, how cute! Hi.
She's a
So you're the
celebrity.
person I hear meowing at me sometimes.
She is very, very talkative. She's a chatty girl. Yes.
Hmm.
She's a cat.
I love how I called her a person.
She's a
Uh,
person. They're familiars. They're shapeshifters.
yeah. Speaking, actually, going down that route, when it comes to connections with our fluffies, do you believe that they let us know when something is there and something like when we can't see it?
I have a lot of activity in my apartment since coming into the paranormal field. Um, and she knows it. And when
Hmm.
it's um she I will say I was working with this one particular house that has a lot of activity um for some time and I was spending about 16 hours a week in that house and would come home, sorry. I would come home and have things kind of follow me and say, "Hey, I'm still here," kind of thing. And
Hmm.
I don't have any kind of fear when it comes to that. I just roll over and like whatever, but she doesn't want me to sleep if there's something going on.
Hmm.
It's weirdo. Um yeah, she she's very hyper aware of everything and she'll come lay on my chest. She'll come, you know, if there's something, she usually she senses it before me for sure.
I
They
think that
see-
familiars are really good at that.
yeah, she's stabbing me right now. Sorry.
That's okay. I miss my baby. I have a cat named Salem, but he's in Arizona and I miss him terribly.
Oh,
He wasn't in a state health wise to where it would be easy for him to come all the way across the country. So, um, but I talk to him on video all the time, and I believe that our fluffies can definitely be um, our strongest guides sometimes too. So, hi, Kenneth. Um, so I think that I think that's amazing. have you always had a connection with cats, or do you like do you like dogs as well?
I love all animals. I work in
Hmm.
animal rescue. Animal rescue is my absolute heart. That is the most important thing to me above all else. Animals are everything. I love them
Hmm.
all. I want them all. But
Me too.
I have since I was a kid, I have a very strong energetic connection to cats. I feel like a cat myself in like
Hmm.
the weirdest way possible. Um, I do. Yeah, cats are everything. In rescue, I'm I don't know why. I don't think it's something that I naturally just gravitate to. I just usually the cases that need my help are cats, but all of my cats have been rescues. I grew up as a weirdo kid, and my parents did not do the right thing. They did not spay and neuter, and we had 30. They
Oh
were
my
out.
gosh.
We only had one that came in and went
Hmm.
out. We had 30 cats outside. And my mom would go outside with 10 paper plates every morning. They all had names. um, yeah, my hair was down to my knees. I was just out there. I was all scratches. They'd climb up my hair. I was just crazy. I've always been the crazy cat lady. Like I wouldn't know how to exist without them. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they're an important aspect of life. Even just being able to spend time with cats can be a really huge healing benefit. Do you have, speaking of cats, we kind of bounce all over in the show sometimes.
That's okay.
Um, but speaking of cats, do you have a favorite story of one of your rescue kitties that you'd like to share with us?
Um, I mean, any rescue story to me is, if you're saving them, it's amazing. I have a funny rescue story.
I would love that.
Entertaining. I don't I don't know if I told you this story. I recently just told somebody this story. So, um, there was a woman who posted on Facebook and she wasn't able to I think she was giving away her cat for free. And that's where I swoop in and I'm always looking for these people because if you post your cat online for free, you're asking for a predator to come grab your cat. And so I pounced and I said, I can come. And she's like, listen, I don't want to give up my cat, but I can't afford to fix my cat. Because of the networking that I do and the friends that I've made, I was able to quietly get this cat fixed by a program at our local animal control. And we had to say she was a stray and we had to put her in like an actual feral trap. And this poor cat, before she goes into the trap, I pick up this cat from this woman's house. She says she can't afford a regular cat carrier. So I buy her a $13 Petco cat carrier, like a cardboard one. And obviously
Mhm.
it's much sturdier than like a cardboard box cardboard, but it's still. And when I get to the house, her son, her little boy, says, "Oh no, she got a bunny." And so he takes me to the backyard, and there's this rabbit that they tried to bury because it was dying. And I'm like,
Mm.
and she's like, "Do you have a box?" And I'm like, "I have a box in my car." So I put this poor rabbit, and I'm thinking I'm going to take the rabbit to animal control with me with this cat, right? And they're going to be able to humanely euthanize. And this is awful, but this is what's happening right now. So I have this bunny in my front seat in a box, right? And it's not going
Mm.
anywhere. It's not covered. And I have the cat that we got into this cardboard carrier. And and mind you, this animal control is like 10 minutes away. It's not that far. It's like 10, 15 minutes tops. And all I got to do is make it there without this cat. This cat starts climbing through, she starts clawing through the cardboard. And I'm like, oh shit, she's gonna like at first it was like little holes. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is not good. She does manage to get out. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm driving through town with a cat who's like semi-feral on my shoulder, and I'm not like rabies vaccinated. Like I
Oh
don't,
no.
yeah, no, I was not prepared for this situation. I've got the cat on my shoulders and she's terrified of driving and she won't get off my shoulder. If I had to stop short or something, she would have just
Hmm.
I have like a half dead bunny in my front seat. So all I'm thinking is, oh my God, there's going to be a massacre. Oh my God.
Oh
So
no.
yeah. So I had to drive to animal control that way. And my lovely friend, Kathy, when I got there, she's like, you got to get this cat in the trap. And I'm like, I can't. I have RA, right? My wrists were not going to do it. And I'm like, I
Mhm.
can't climb the back seat. Like I can't physically do this right now. She was like, the cat's going to get out. And she got the cat in the trap and it worked out. And they did, the bunny didn't make the ride, which is terrible, but
Mm.
that's my crazy cat story. Like that's probably the most entertaining story that I have of rescue. But yeah, it's wild. I mean,
That is wild.
I had a woodpecker loose in my car. I taken possums off the side of the road and driven them. I'll do anything for an animal. Anything.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I think they have some of the sweetest souls that there can be. And I mean, yes, I'm not necessarily saying that all animals are sweet, but I think that they have a pure, I think all animals really do have pure intentions. And so um, I think, in essence, by making an effort to help any creature that's out there that's dealing with any kind of hardship is amazing.
They're everything.
Um,
They're pure innocence. They're all perfection. They're all friendly or not. They're, in my mind, superior to us. And so they deserve the world. And
I concur. I agree completely.
methodical, my reason for trying to grow this into something big. I mean, I want to be financially stable, right? I'd like to make I don't want a nanny for the rest of my life. I do want this to take over and be financially abundant for me, but I don't even want a house. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. That's excessive for me. I don't need a nice car. I need to save every cat on the planet. Like that's I'm online and like when I have extra money, you see these cats that are like rescues that they can't afford to pay a vet bill for something little like a ruptured eye or like an abscess, or this cat had kittens and is there's so many things, and I cry every day of my life because I can't handle it. And my entire mission and methodical is that this is for the animals. I mean, this is like I have to make money for the animals. That's my mission.
I love that.
Yeah.
When it comes to people that may be looking for somebody to represent them, what is it? What specifically are you looking for when it comes to people that may be curious about reaching out?
Looking for something in specific. I mean, I'm open to any type of talent. To be honest, I have mainly paranormal. I do have the psychic mediums. I have an author, um, podcasts, and I have a therapist that's not in the paranormal field at all that I'm just doing marketing for. So really, the sky's the limit. I mean, if I can help you, there's I'm open to it. So for anybody interested in representation or marketing of any sorts, please reach out.
And what's the best way for them to be able to contact you?
So you can find me on Facebook under Aja DePizzol. And I don't know, I didn't actually put DePizzol on there, just DePizzol. But also Asia at methodical.com is
Mhm.
my email address. And that's methodical with a K, just like it's spelled there.
Awesome.
I have a
So,
website coming soon.
oh, awesome. Yeah, that's right. I know a little bit about that, tiny bit.
Yeah, we're about halfway done. I'm really psyched.
That's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Um, so when it comes to people within the paranormal or people within metaphysical connections, who are some of the people that you would recommend other people perhaps read their books or research or learn about?
Oh God, like everybody on my roster, a lot of people have books. That's
Hmm.
You have a new book.
I
Uh,
do.
I highly recommend. I was also, just so everyone knows, was just given a past life regression by the lovely Raven last week, and that was transformative. I'm still working on a review for you. Forgive me.
That's
Um,
okay. Thank
I
you.
absolutely recommend your services. Um, we've got you put me on the spot here. I've got like so
Sorry.
many. I can write it all up and get it all out there, but I mean, yeah, wonderful, wonderful people on my roster. As far as readers, we have Kenneth Drake, Hollywood's psychic, um, very, very gifted man. Um, we have, oh God, we've got Christopher Brown, who is not with us today. Um, we've got Larissa. Larissa's not, she's out of the country right now. Um, oh my God, there's so many people. Merlina Bears. We've got Rachel Ravensvale. In the psychic network, I mean, I've definitely gotten quite a few people. Um, but yeah, I mean, so many, so many people.
And more coming. More
Yes, and if
coming.
you go on my Facebook, you will see full bios of people, and I am unveiling everyone slowly. So
That
yeah.
is awesome.
Most recently, Patty Negri, the Good Witch of Hollywood, which is incredible to me that she chose me. I don't even know what to say about that. Thank you, Patty Negri. She is wonderful. This woman is just the most beautiful energy. Um, I was not expecting that email a few weeks ago, but that's wonderful.
I know her well, and she's definitely amazing. So, yeah.
Yes,
So, do you like horror movies?
I do.
What are your favorite horror movies and why?
Oof.
Or if you could name like one or two of your top favorite.
So, so I'm actually quietly in the works of working on a horror podcast with a friend, and yeah, we're going to be talking about horror movies. And I have to get I don't watch television anymore, so I have to go back in and watch these things to like refresh my memory. I'm awful. One of my very favorites is Dreamcatcher, Stephen King Dreamcatcher. I think that
Mhm.
that film was fantastic. That's one of my go-tos. Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula is I don't know if you want to say like horror romance. That's probably my favorite. That's like all-time favorite movies that I watch several times a year when I do put on the TV. The Witch, Robert
Mhm.
Eggers, is that how you say his name? The Witch was the most beautiful. I think that might have been the most beautifully done movie on occultism I've ever seen in my life.
What did you like about it the most? That specific, the witch movie.
It's the era. It's the
Mhm.
1600s. It's I feel a connection to that time. I just feel like I was there, and there's just that pull. So, you're sitting there and you're just like, "Oh, that." It's just that. Um,
Mhm.
but the whole I mean, Black Phillip is everything.
Mhm.
Like who doesn't want to live deliciously? That's what I'm going to say about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a pull. And that one for me, that was a hard one for me too, because being someone who was born again at 17 and leaving my pagan ways before I came back in again, you fight that, and there's that fear there, and you watch that movie and you're like, oh, but like, oh, Do you know?
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That is the most just beautifully, just beautifully the way that it's conveyed. It's just gorgeous to me.
What
Gorgeous.
about the costuming? I think that that was pretty interesting too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the time period was just, I mean, it's so awful because back then would have been a very morose time to live. Like, I don't necessarily like, you know what I mean? I don't even know if I'd want to like time travel and go exist there again to remember if it was a past life of mine.
Right.
But there's a draw there. There's just something magical about that time period. Everything, the old English, yeah,
Mhm.
the way they dressed, the way that they lived, everything.
When it comes to other places, you had mentioned Africa. Uh, what are some other places that you've felt strong draws to that you don't really understand necessarily why you have those draws, but it's there?
So Egypt was one of them, Africa. I have a magical connection to France. And it's not just because my mother's mother is from France. She's from
Hmm.
Strasbourg, which borders Germany, and I think she's mostly German. Um, there's something about France that just calls, and I can go whenever I want. I have free room and board. I have lovely French family that want me there. They want me to go live there. And
Hmm.
that was my ultimate in my 20s. That's where I thought I was going to end up. Um, but I'm very, very called to France. I very much feel something. When I talked to my family about where did the witchcraft come from, because we didn't really know, and I'm the only person. I have an aunt who feels that my sister feels something, but she never
Hmm.
really delved into it, I think out of fear. But my mother was like, whose kid are you? Like, where did you come from, kind of thing. And we don't have any history of it in the family. And in my mind, I just identify maybe like somewhere in France, but I don't know. I don't know. But I've also been, our lovely friend Samaya had read that part for me and told me that it stems from Italy, which I have my grandfather, his parents, one was from Italy, his mother was from Cork, Ireland. And so maybe I've got, I don't know. But France calls me. I'm rambling again. I'm
No,
like,
no, it's good to
trying to
it's
anywhere.
good to hear your thoughts.
France
Um,
is big.
France. I have a strong draw there as well. For me, also it's parts of London that I'm drawn to. I'm rather, I'm pretty sure I had a past life that's connected to London, and then parts of Romania. So parts of Romania. I've always had draws there, and I got lucky to be there for 16 days and be able to experience some of the magic there, which was fun. And I actually have a really strong draw to Japan as well. So kind of interesting because a lot of the people that I've talked to that have past life experiences, they have these draws, but they don't know like where it sources from. And I think that that may be something that is very much a part of it, possibly. So, yeah. All right. Oh, Jeremy says that he has a strong draw to England and Scotland. Okay.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Beautiful
Very
place.
Do if any of our guests that are watching the show would like to ask any questions, feel free to go ahead and post them in the comments for Aja. Um, we'll go ahead and open up the floor for that. Also, uh, do you think fairies are real? I'm very curious about your thoughts on that.
So I wasn't. I wasn't ever really sure about that. I have an uncle
Mhm.
who, and my mother was like, "What are you telling her?" I have an uncle who told me about fairies in the Black Forest, and he fully believed that. I have never ever seen fairy outside of a conversation that you and I had. And
Mhm.
because of you, I now believe that there absolutely has to be. I mean, without seeing it, like, I was just kind of living in this world where you don't really know, I'm open to anything. I believe in mermaids. I'm like die hard. There have to be mermaids out there, like I feel something, I feel a connection there. And I'm like, there have to be mermaids. So yes,
Well, some of us that have very strong, strong, strong draws to the ocean, I think there's just that inner sense and knowing that there is more out there than what we see. So mermaids have to be real. If fairies can be real, mermaids can be real.
they're all real. Magic is real. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Are there any types of paranormal creatures or otherworldly types of beings that you're unsure of as to whether they are like real or not? Like some people, for example, and don't get me wrong, I'm not closed off to this, but because if I have seen fairies and I've seen other things, everything else can be real. But for me personally, Bigfoot is actually kind of a question mark for me. I don't know why it's a question mark. Maybe I haven't done enough research or study necessarily to understand Bigfoot, but that's always been a question mark for me. What about for you?
That's a good one. For me, in the nature of mermaids, one that hits me, and I've had dreams of, right? And so I feel like I have some kind of like spiritual like affinity for Selkie, the Selkie. Um, but in that folklore, they're like half seal, or they transform from there. So like I don't know outside of like they say mermaids, like the half human, half tail kind of thing, but a Selkie being seal and then shedding their skin, and like the whole folklore with that to me is I'm unsure of. But as
Mhm.
far as other things, Bigfoot, I don't know, man. You see those footprints and you're like, wow, like why not? I mean, in my head, I'm like,
Right.
maybe why not? Because like we have gorillas and things that are like huge, but I don't know. That's a good one. I haven't really given that much thought because I believe in everything. Like, nothing is impossible to me, you know.
Right. Like I'm very open-minded to the possibility, but for some reason that's the only one I seem to struggle with a little bit.
Hey, that's valid, That's one of those things. I've never seen one. Have you seen one? So
Mhm.
you know what I don't understand, and I know there are a lot of people that I know that am friends with and that I represent that can then, elaborate on. But as far as like, they say that Bigfoot goes up into the trees, like if they're that huge, like I don't know. I mean, like how do they hop up in a tree and hop? I don't know.
I
That's not,
I would almost think that and this was just my thinking, I would almost think that they would have to be out like really in the jungle or like the wild, but I could be totally wrong about that. I don't know because trees compared to even the foot size of what a Bigfoot
yeah,
shows are small in comparison. I mean the trees are small in
yeah,
comparison. Yeah.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, what would they be able to house a creature that big? And like, that's a thing.
Hmm.
I definitely have thought about that. And
Hmm.
then, of course, aliens. You gotta, like, do they really look like the little green people? I don't know. But I like the possibility of anything being real. I like the magic of that. So
Hmm. I think that aliens are very much real. I don't think that they always hide in the ways that some people feel. I think that they could be seen as play as plain as day. In certain aspects, but then I also know there are other there it is stated that there are several different types of aliens. So um who
yeah, that's
knows? So yeah. Um I've had experiences from childhood I'll have to tell you later on about with those kinds of things. But the green people, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a really good question.
yeah. I don't know. I agree with you though. There would have to be like different species, different types. They would look different, you know. And then you have
Hmm.
to say they just walk among us and look like us, and they could. They could.
Yeah. Speaking of um, paranormal and cryptids and those kinds of things, what are some of your favorite? Do you have like favorite paranormal shows that you like to watch?
Another real, and this is probably embarrassing in the community that we are in. I don't really watch television.
Right. No, and that's
So
totally okay. I just didn't know like if you had a show.
so I will tell you the last paranormal TV show. I did pop on and I watched some Paranormal State because I wanted to see Father Bob in the
Hmm.
episodes. But I stopped watching paranormal TV with sightings. You know, I was watching Unsolved Mysteries, sightings as a kid, and then, you know, any documentary that would come up on like any of it, like UFOs or ghosts or anything like that. I was the spooky kid, you know, I was always into that stuff. But the older I got, I found that I watched more like movies, like an indie movie or a horror movie or something like that. But I like to write, and I
Hmm.
don't generally turn the TV on. And even like with Methodical now, I don't even have time for the TV. And I have friends that have TV shows, and I'm I'm awful because like I wouldn't know anybody from a TV show just because I don't turn on the TV. Like, I mean, my TV has been off
Hmm.
several months. Like, I don't even know if it works, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't because I just do other things. I just, you know, like yeah, I'm just always in my
You're
head.
busy.
I'm feeling like there's always something more creative that I could be doing, and it's not a knock on television at all. I mean, I understand like I've had stressful times where like I put it on and like I want to watch The Office and zone out. Um, but and I have my favorites.
Mhm.
Bewitched, my all-time favorite TV show. There, you know, Bewitched is everything. Twin Peaks, Vampire Diaries. Like I
Right.
have certain go-tos, right? But like I just yeah, it just doesn't go on. But yeah, sightings. Sightings was really big for me. And
That's
then
awesome.
stopped watching that stuff. But yeah.
For me, growing up, I liked Bewitched. I also watched. You're gonna laugh at me, but I did watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch when I was a kid.
Hey, that was a great show. That was great.
Yeah,
She
yeah. But I think my first medium mystic, the medium show that I watched was beyond. You know, everybody sees The Sixth Sense when you're a kid, but or at least they did in my area. But for me, it was actually The Ghost Whisperer that really impacted me as a medium, because I didn't know anybody else really like me at that time because I was raised in a Christian, non-denominational Christian home. And so a lot of those capacities weren't something that was really well acknowledged or accepted in my family. So this show really helped me to see that maybe I'm not alone because somebody obviously has created a show on it. Of course, you know, there's the entertainment factors to it all, but I related to it because when I started seeing those whom have crossed over, I used to see them in the way that they died when I was younger. Until much later on, I was able to figure out how to communicate with them and be able to understand what happened, but not necessarily be able to see those physical details that would frighten me as a child. So it's nice when there are things that can help to kind of connect those dots, and that was just one of those things for me.
That's cool.
uh,
I'll check that one out. What is it? The Ghost Whisperer?
it's I actually think you would like it, just because the main character, she's just so down to earth and so mellow, and she just wants to help the community. She has like this antique shop that she has, and she helps those who've crossed over to find closure and to help the living as well with people who have crossed over. And it's not a reality show, but it's the first, like, most realistic one that I saw as a child that I was like, okay, this makes sense. And it has Jennifer Love Hewitt in it.
Okay.
But if you ever get a chance, that might be something you might want to check
I'll
out for
definitely
sure.
check that out for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for being willing to be on my show. And we do kind of
Thank
bounce
you.
around quite a bit on here.
That's okay. I'm ADHD. I'm all over the place. So thanks for having me.
Yeah. And for those of you watching, please be sure to check out Aja and Methodickal Management. She is just an incredible being that's really making a huge impact um, in the world and in our community. And I feel so lucky to know you. So thank
Likewise.
you. Yeah.
Likewise.
All right. Gwen, would you like to come up, and do you have anything you'd like to ask before we close?
No, I was sitting back there enjoying the show. Actually, two of my family, I call them Asia, and I don't get to talk enough, but I think we'll be talking soon, even more, which will be
Yes.
awesome. Yeah, and I'll get to see her some this year at some of the stuff we're going to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and yeah,
Mhm.
great show, no joke. Chris, if you're watching, I know we missed you, but
We did miss you.
yeah, we have our little network family, but we have our extended family too. So yes, and I've had Asia on my show before, back when I had time to have one.
It's actually been an entire year, Gwen.
Yes,
A
yes,
year. It was May. Yeah, I can't believe
yeah.
that.
Yeah, that because I want to start my. I've had people, oh, you need to start your show again, but you know what? I don't have time because I'm doing everybody else's stuff. But I will when probably when the season's over, when I go back home for the winter. I probably will and I may start doing something hint on Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, actually, and just bring on people and say, hey, are you busy today? Just an hour or two or however long we want, just to talk like a round table, and I think people would like that. So that's my idea, and it may pop up. And if anybody's watching, they'll know ahead of everybody else. So, but yes, if you're ready to end, we'll take Asia down, and you can tell everybody who's coming on next week, and then you can just tell everybody good night. And
All
Asia, if
right.
you'll stay in the
Sounds good.
background, we'll talk to you in a minute.
Sure.
All right, here we go.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the show this evening. It was a lot of fun to be able to talk with Aja. And as always, we appreciate all of you who come in and listen. Next week, Christopher should be back with me, and we will be interviewing our next surprise guest. With that being said, Monday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you then. Bye now.